So after today's new Xbox reveal, Sony stock rose by almost 10% the same day, which is almost unheard of in the business world, and this is the same graph for Microsoft stock during the same time period. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is David from Very Traumatic Gaming, and today I will be summarizing what we know about the Xbox One. And it's really difficult for me to say that name, because really, Microsoft, the name is almost as bad as the Wii U. They could have gone for Xbox Prime to emphasize how the Xbox is a factor in entertainment, but I already owned an Xbox One for years. Now, just a quick note, the gameplay you're going to see this video is Star Wars Battlefront 2, because my biggest gaming wish at the moment is for Star Wars Battlefront 3 to appear on any of the next-gen consoles, which is a possibility because EA is now publishing DICE-developed Star Wars games. But later on, I'm sure we'll know more information on how they came to settle on this name. I also hate how the console looks. I can't stand it. It's like a toaster oven. But at least Microsoft showed the console, unlike Sony. I've been excited for a long while for this event. I wanted to see what the new Xbox would bring to gaming. I've been an Xbox fan ever since the Xbox One. But the sad thing is the conference was not gaming-centric enough. I know that they plan to show more games at E3 and today was more about the hardware, but I just wish today they showed more about what the hardware could bring to the gaming world. But now I'll get into the most important part of this commentary. Here are the physical performance specifications of the new Xbox. The hardware most relevant to gaming performance is the GPU. If we look at just the raw specs, the measure of flops, that is floating point operations per second, the GPU is around the AMD 7770 GHz edition and the 7790. Some have said that the 7790 is the GPU, but comparing PC parts and console parts is like talking human anatomy with chimpanzee bones. The GPU will most likely be an OEM design somewhere in between the two. In terms of gaming performance, you can get about 50 frames per second in a best case scenario in Battlefield 3 with anti-aliasing turned off. If we were to build a new Xbox using PC parts, here is what it would look like. I made this using PC Parts Picker, but if you have any suggestions for components to add or remove, feel free to add them in the comment section. In terms of final pricing, we have to adjust for proprietary parts like the case and power supply, the proprietary operating system, OEM chips, and how parts will be naturally cheaper by then, so I estimate the new Xbox will be $450 to $500 at launch. The bundled Kinect is what is really driving the price up. To make a PlayStation 4, just swap in a 7870 GPU. Bear in mind though that console hardware can be much better optimized for gaming than PC hardware can ever dream of being. Some PC builders estimate that even with the best drivers, we would only ever use about 50% of our PC graphics card's potential. That's shocking, and I think that is a low estimate. That's like a worst case scenario estimate. But with consoles, especially late in the life cycle, you are sure to use 100%. Think of how good the Xbox 360's graphics were in the last year versus when the Xbox 360 first came out. We can't tell for sure how well the games will actually look though, because all the footage we've seen so far is through an online video player, and even then the gameplay had to be rendered for the presentation. A lot of Call of Duty Ghosts gameplay looked like it was scripted set pieces. Watching gameplay over the internet is a far cry away from how it really looks, especially if you are watching in a small video player mode. That's why I hate it when people talk about how unremarkable PC graphics are when they watch on YouTube. The only fair representation of graphical quality is how the game actually looks in person when you're playing. Both Sony and Microsoft are making 60 frames per second and 1080p a priority. The controller retains most of its original design, but still doesn't use rechargeable batteries. The triggers are more responsive and capable of having variable pressure sensed by the console. There's a more tactile feel to the buttons, and the D-pad is far improved. Xbox Live will now have 300,000 servers compared to the 15,000 of the Xbox 360. There is no backwards compatibility with Xbox 360 games, at least through discs. You do not have to always be connected to the internet to use the new Xbox, debunking a previous rumor, but it is possible that you will have to be connected to the internet for a one-time activation of a game. There is a lot of confusion regarding this at the moment as to whether this is some sort of DRM that will punish players who buy used games, but multiple personnel have confirmed there is no penalty for playing used games across consoles. The new Xbox can offload complex calculations to the cloud, which helps improve performance over time as the internal hardware ages. So this is good for improving gaming performance. Each new Xbox will come with the Kinect 2.0. The stronger Kinect is far more responsive and has less lag. The sensor can see your body orientation, have somewhat of a feel for composition, and use acceleration as feedback. Here are some confirmed games so far. Xbox has announced that they will be releasing 15 exclusives in the first year alone. Now I'll talk about some features that don't interest me as much. There was the obligatory showcasing of new apps, quick switching in between apps, and app in app or app next to app functionality. Gosh, that's a lot of apps in one sentence. Smart Glass is talked about as well, seeing as more people have tablets or touch mobile devices that can function as an additional input or screens to use with apps or games. Xbox Live TV will be available for the United States in its first year. There is a live-action Halo TV series that will be directed by Steven Spielberg, but as much as I love Halo, it's not relevant to me playing games. There is a new Xbox and NFL partnership which will bring exclusive content and fantasy integration to Xbox Live, but this is largely irrelevant to anyone outside the United States. Kinect 2.0, as mentioned previously, will come with the console and will be required to be on for the Xbox to work. I guess this is where a lot of the rumors about always on came from. Kinect will be a more important than ever mechanism to operate the console, like with hand motions and better recognizable voice commands. Again, I know that this wasn't about specific games and you're not supposed to see massive amounts of gameplay, and E3 is more for specific games, but the rest of the conference should have focused on how the new hardware makes for a better gaming experience for core gamers. Microsoft wants to conquer the living room and make the Xbox an entertainment hub for the family, and they hope to attract casuals with the new Kinect. But is anything I just said really going to attract mainstream gamers, the ones that will be spending the most money? A stronger Kinect is intriguing, but as it stands now, the potential to seamlessly integrate Kinect into games that mainstream gamers want to play hasn't been realized. I'm interested in a gaming console, Microsoft, not an extension for my TV. But anyways guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this commentary. I worked really hard on it, so be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoyed. Let me know whether you're more interested in the PlayStation 4 or the new Xbox. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next video.